Hey, Guru Nation, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share. If you don't know what to comment, put a robot emoji. It helps with the algorithm. Put a comment, or maybe put like something that could compete with the comment of the year. I know it's only January, but this is the comment of the year so far from JN. It's a comment so good, deserves its own video. So it's about clinical research professionals having side gigs. So here, let me read it from JM. Okay, it says I have a lot to say on this. They actually do, and I will pause when I have my opinion to chime in. And this comment it's really long, so I didn't actually read the entire thing when they posted it. So I'm reacting to this comment myself for the first time as well. I read most of it, but not all of it. So, firstly, I'm speaking as a coordinator who has been working at a large university hospital for a decade. Along the way, I found many areas where a coordinator could specialize that run perfectly tangential to the day to day duties. This is likely going to be pretty lengthy and anecdotal, but these are all areas where I see a need for the unique expertise that only a CRP, I think they mean that is biostatistics, information technology, grant and scientific writing and regulatory affairs, that only a CRP can provide. So I'm not sure what CRP means. Clinical research professional, maybe. I know ACRP has certification for clinical research professionals. Starting with the nearest to my heart, information technology. For those that are proficient with computers and enjoy working with them, there are countless ways you could turn that into a niche all on your own. As I'm sure most of this audience can appreciate, our teams are constantly changing. As a CRC, I work with numerous departments and different PIs within each department, all of which have completely different workflows and ways they analyze, chart, schedule, and communicate. It goes without saying that each study is also its own beast. So even if your team doesn't change, you likely can't apply a one size fits all to every study you take on. When I first started, I found myself spending so much time recreating the wheel over and over. It was a great learning experience. But as I got more and more experienced, I really found that there were things I could make better for myself and my colleagues. I started off with courses offered online by Microsoft Excel, Word, Outlook to learn their deepest secrets and find ways to automate the most tedious tasks. This was 2 to 3 years in my career, and upon receiving my certification, I started showing my boss different things I've been doing, and they had me form my own committee. I was granted admin privileges, which allowed me to provide in house support for our Office applications. Once we got 365, which is Microsoft Office, I started classes and became certified in SharePoint Online so that we could fully move to the cloud and away from internal share drives. Fully utilizing the software at your site correctly is one of the most important parts of having a productive, compliant, and cost effective research department, in my opinion. Luckily, Office and G Suite don't actually require you to become certified or take formal courses. It just depends on the need that you're hoping to fill and how far you're able to take it. I actually don't know what G Suite is, but I agree with this comment. I also want to add this is a perfect example of being a generalist. So here's somebody who's a coordinator that learned everything about Microsoft Suite, Excel, Word, Outlook, figured out ways to automate, which makes everybody more efficient, which makes the department more efficient. They went ahead and got certified in those things. They're saying you don't have to be, but you can. And I want to add, you should pick doing something like this that you actually enjoy. And this person even said, starting with the nearest to my heart, information technology. So that's definitely a need. And as we move into eSource and eReg and all those kind of things, that's definitely going to be something that is going to be a huge niche. So if somebody wants to make a side hustle, this is what you can do. Next paragraph from them. It is also critical that security be the forefront. I hope more clinical researchers, especially those at sites, become more involved in the field of cybersecurity. Much of the time, I find that way clinical trials are conducted massively conflict with basic tenets of information security. I work with up to 10 vendors per study that can change or be outsourced at any time during the conduct of the study without any sort of advance notice. This is true. Average study is about 10 vendors, guys. I'm a coordinator right now for my startup site, and It's about 10 vendors. I haven't counted, but I want to say it's about 10 vendors. It's a lot. There's a IRT, there's a EDC, there's a uh, ECG platform, there's the lab platform, there's the IRB, there's 5 other things that I'm not even sure about. It might not be 10, maybe it's 8. I know I'm missing a few. But point is, there's a lot of logins. Okay, so let me continue. We connect so many unknown devices to our internal network computers and medical equipment every day. External email with attachments are the main way we communicate, despite this being the easiest and most common way for malicious payloads to access the network. We also have the recruitment firms hired by sponsors whose services are growing rapidly more advanced and require access or better yet, integration with our EMR. Oh, I take it back. The 6th vendor I use is Creo, which is eSource. As I keep reading, there's going to be 7th. We do use a patient recruitment firm too, so that'll be number 7. The same thing goes for the rapid growth of third-party hosting platforms where remote monitoring can be facilitated by providing sites a portal to upload the source. It worries me to think of all the smaller sites who don't have the security frameworks and oversights. Yeah, guys, this person's absolutely right. They don't. Like most sites don't do this. Most sites don't have. Oh, another portal I have is access to my physician, my PI's EMRs, electronic medical records. So that's 8. I tell you, is if we keep going, we're going to come up with more. The same thing goes for the rapid growth of third-party hosting platforms. So yeah, the standards a vendor is held to while working on behalf of a clinical trial versus directly with the site is night and day. Absolutely right. Because remember, the site's core competency is not information technology and it's not cybersecurity. It's seeing patients, caring for the patients under the umbrella of good clinical practice and the protocol. So this person's absolutely right. As we get more digital with our data, these things become important. Third paragraph, for those who don't mind going back to school, becoming a biostatistician is another great way to step outside the standard roles of a clinical research professional. The most accomplished physicians who serve as KOLs, key opinion leaders, and have CVs as thick as encyclopedias are commonly not well versed in statistics. I told you this is comment of the year, guys. All right, JM, this is now the standard. Okay. The same thing goes for the rapid growth. Okay, sorry. The grant scientific writing comes into play here because many times investigator initiated research proposals lack the details required of a protocol. The most common problems I've seen during my time during internal grant review board are proposals with far too many hypotheses, the lack of statistical analysis plans, budget not matching proposals, and misidentifying research as QA/QI. At a teaching hospital like mine, we have several departments that liaise with those writing grants to help identify these problems early. So I can only imagine how it must be at smaller sites. Well, here's the thing. So smaller sites they don't submit for grants. So that that makes it simple. They just don't do it. They don't submit for grants. This is not to say that these investigators are lacking. Far from it. Too many times, amazing grants have to be denied because of a seemingly minor detail was missed, or God forbid, years down the road, your investigator gets notice that their paper has been retracted. Check out retractionwatch.com to see how desperately medical field needs more robust reviews of protocols. And there's your customers, guys. If you're a grant writer, I'm interviewing a medical writer. We might actually interview 2 medical writers coming up soon in these next 2 weeks. Casey, my assistant, is scheduling these because Guru Nation requested we have medical writer on the show. So I got 2 of them on. So this is another area where you can become a generalist. I know this is much in demand, even though sites don't do grants, right? There's always investigators who want to do investigator-initiated trials. They don't all live and work at academic medical centers, right? A lot of them are in private practice. So back to this person comment of the year. The last area I'll talk about is that of regulatory affairs and compliance. Many sites have regulatory affairs specialists in house, but there's not a lot of site involvement on a more national scale. These are primarily made up of those associated with sponsors, CROs, vendors, IRBs, and investigators, but site staff input is not really there. I hope that as more focus on treating the role of all clinical research professionals as a profession with core competencies, educational requirements, and certifications, that it encourages more career coordinators, site managers, finance managers, etc., to become more active for more balanced discussions. I agree, but I think that the downside of this is if you start offering specializations, which I think we need more. We're launching clinical research university, so stay tuned. This year we're launching that out. We have different academies planned with different certifications. The the reason we're doing this is to make people generalists, right? You can take one course, then take another course. We've had many CRC Academy students take our Site Owner Academy, then take CRA Academy. They're becoming generalists. So I agree with this commenter here that we do need um, more. I guess what they're trying to say is clinical research professionals with core competencies that have certifications and educational requirements and things like that. The benefit of it being the Wild West and there not being these kind of things is what you said in your first paragraph, right? There's no certificate you need. It's just a matter of what's in here, your core competencies, and how much of a generalist are you? Because if you're better at X than all your coworkers, guess who's the expert on X at your site? You. It's not going to be them. And so there's no limit to how many of these things you can be the expert in at your site. And the more of those things you can add on your resume, the better off you're going to be in your career, and I think in your satisfaction as well, because if you have a diverse set of skills, you're never going to get bored. You can always do different things. You have options, guys. Options are powerful. Options are powerful. Last paragraph. I lastly want to touch on the first question about the CRA who wishes to consult on the side for sites who want to grow within research. I think it's important for all of us to understand the limitations of not having just as much experience working at a large site with a robust research department as with a CRO who supports many different sponsors. I would fail miserably if I tried to help grow a CRO, because all the experience I do have working with CROs probably accounts for 5% of what it actually takes to work for one, much less own and build one. A CRA consultant with no experience working at the management level at a site with a well developed program will simply not have the requisite knowledge to develop a site with no other research support staff. Now that I think about it, not even someone who has only worked as a CRC should be really standalone consultant to help research site given what's at stake. So they're saying that, look, it's nice to want to have side gigs. I think you need to figure out what specifically, and to defend the CRA who wishes to consult on the side, they're not helping the site build their entire site. They're helping the site. They want to help the site get more studies. But you could be a CRA that helps the site prepare for their monitoring visits, or you can be the CRA that helps the site or coordinator, or whatever it is, prepare for FDA audits or do startup regulatory, or if you have experience with contracts and budgets, there's or patient recruitment, or the list just goes on and on and on. Right? But this is the comment of the year. I wanted to do a video. Hopefully, you guys will learn something from it, take something away from it. There's a lot of value in that comment, and I thought it was good to give my own 2 cents on it. And thank you. Keep the questions coming. Keep the comments coming. They're helping me out a lot, guys. Guru Nation, take care. Bye-bye.